My son and I were taking a drive through town the other day. He was driving, I was navigating. I wanted to take him on an old way that I used to take through South Knoxville a long time ago. We got to one particular place, and I always had turned left on this road. And so I had just about started to tell him to turn left when I noticed that there were signs all over the place that said, "Wrong way, wrong way, wrong way." The right way wasn't really marked, but it was straight ahead, up a hill. And so we became followers of that way. In the book of Acts, one of the books in the New Testament of the Christian Bible, the people we think of as the early Christians called themselves followers of the way. Through their experiences of Jesus' life, his death, his resurrection, they had come to know that this way was a way of love. And they had also come to know that the way to follow the way of love was to seek in all times, at all times, and in all places to be the love that their broken world needed. They sought to be such love by the way they took care of each other, which at first meant that in the very early days, they sold all their possessions, pooled their money together, so they could make sure that everyone in their community had enough. They sought to be such love by the way they put their trust in the Spirit of the living God, a trust that gave them the strength and gave them the courage and gave them the fortitude to keep fast to that way of love. They sought to be such love by the way they worked through the cultural and ideological, racial, ethnic, social, and religious barriers that divided them. And it was in working through those barriers that they became communities where Jew and Gentile, slave and free, male and female, rich and poor, could flourish together. They did not always succeed, but they continued to hold fast to the ideal that the way of love was the way to follow. And in their own way, their attempts to be that love answered a question that had been posed by the prophet Jeremiah generations before them. In his own day, Jeremiah asked, "Is there no balm in Gilead to heal the brokenness of this broken world?" The answer for them in their own day was yes, indeed. There is such a balm. They trusted in the balm of the boundless love of the risen Lord for the whole world. And they understood that they were there to tell that story of love and to be that balm, that salve, that ointment, that healing power in their own time, to be the balm in Gilead. And we are called to the same thing. We also are here to follow the way of love. We are here to tell the story of this way of love, to tell that story of what love looks like in times of life, in times of death, and in times of resurrection or new beginnings. We are here to be the balm of this way of love, to be love in times of need, to be love in times of despair, to be love at times when bridges must be built across the divisions of a broken world. And to do so, we too need the Spirit of the living God. We need the Spirit of the living God to encourage us when we become discouraged. We need the Spirit of the living God to guide us through times of change. So stay with me a moment longer. Let the way of love speak to you as you view these images. Images accompanied by both the words and the melody of the old African-American spiritual, "There is a balm in Gilead." Oh, and just a brief note. Some of the photos in this meditation were taken prior to COVID-19. They show neighborhood ministries at St. Luke's that were taking place at that time. As of this date, One of these ministries, the Common Ground Café, in which the neighborhood gathered, has been suspended because of COVID-19. However, the food pantry, operated by Fish Hospitality Pantries, continues to distribute free groceries, but now with new policies and procedures which allow for social distancing and compliance with best practices of safety. These adjustments are also ways of being love in a changed time.